Mark and Dave, KEX.
Senator Ron Wyden joins the Mark and Dave Show, one of the few U.S. officials to tour the stricken nuclear power facility at Fukushima, Japan. He joins us to talk about it. And Senator, are we being told the whole truth about radiation possibly headed our way?
One of the reasons, guys, that I went is that I have some real questions about whether all the facts have gotten out with respect to Fukushima. Clearly, there have been policies put in place to deal with some of the safety, questions. I had a chance to spend time talking to people at the utility, but I think there are a significant number of unanswered questions. And for me, at the outset, those questions involve what's called Unit 4. There's 6 of these, reactors, and Unit 4 in particular is what has troubled me. That's the one where there's the inventory of the hottest spent fuel rods. You've got these spent fuel rods and spent fuel pools in structurally unstable buildings, and my concern is if there is another earthquake which triggers a tsunami, those rods could catch fire, and that could release a significant amount of radiation that would be headed our way.
Is there already a concern that too much maybe has already headed our way?
I'm not going to speculate with respect to those health consequences. What I want to do is to try to give a straightforward outline of what I saw. I mean, it really just takes your breath away when you go through there. These huge trucks, for example, thrown about like they were Ava Rose Wyden, who's 4, like her little toys. I mean, it's staggering.
One headline, when I read this, credits you with saying that it's a national security issue for America. Is it? And are we offering help, and are they accepting?
I have proposed both to the ambassador and our key officials, Secretary Clinton, the folks at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, that what ought to be done here is to work in a bilateral kind of fashion with the United States and Japan teaming up. Obviously, there are questions about how much the United States can dictate here, but I think there's a scientific and technical expertise that can be shared, and we continue to have those discussions with experts both here and in Asia.
It's troubling to think that there could be something that dangerous lurking out there, and this is where, and I know you're aware of this, this is where the average person becomes cynical about government, be it Japan or America. They don't feel like they're getting the whole story. Has Japan been upfront and fair?
They have a different system. For example, one of the most troubling aspects of the trip is that their regulator seems to be pretty much guided by the utility companies. We have a different system, a Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and their regulator compared to ours really doesn't resemble ours in terms of strength and the ability to have significant regulations and to enforce them. I mean, regulations are about ensuring that they are sufficiently strong, that they're enforced, that they're transparent. And one of the aspects of the discussion that I had when I was at the plant was the discussion I had with the Japanese regulators, and I asked them whether they had looked at some of the analyses that have been done with respect to what happens when there are earthquakes and tsunamis. And the regulator essentially said that he could only speak for himself, but they really hadn't had the time to look at those analyses. And I just thought to myself, what could be more important? And that's one of the reasons I'm concerned that not enough has been done quickly enough, and what I have proposed specifically, instead of a 10-year plan to take these spent fuel rods to dry casks, that they speed that up, and that's what I'm pushing for.
All right, very good. Changing gears here for just a moment, but there's been a push, and now it looks like some success in getting a direct nonstop between Portland and Washington, D.C. Is that true, and what does that mean for our local economy?
It's true, and I think this is a big shot in the arm for the Oregon economy. Guys, here's the bottom line. You cannot have big league economic growth with little league infrastructure. And right now, capacity just exceeds demand. And I can tell you, I have flown on a whole bunch of these flights over the years, and a small business person sits next to me. And the small business person says, I really need to have more access to the East Coast market. I need to be able to get into the East Coast market more conveniently. I've got clients, for example, in New England. I've got clients in North Carolina. And guys, these small business people say, Ron, I can't go out and hire a lobbyist. I don't have the money, for example, to go in a day earlier. We need more flights in order to tap these business opportunities. And we are a small business state, and today's news about Alaska is going to be a big shot in the arm to our small business sector getting into the East Coast market.
It's a win-win for everybody. You're right. Senator Ron Wyden, U.S. Senator, thanks for being on with Mark and Dave. The return of the Mark and Dave bird flu update. I hope the senator hears this. You better hear it. It's next.